Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jack here from Crabs Collectibles, and this is my third week of giving you guys an update on where we are with the business. So reflecting on this week, I did post much more than last week. If you watched last week's video, you might remember that I was pretty lazy on the posting. I had a very busy week with my full-time job, as well as just like birthdays, and I went away for a little bit to see my parents and stuff like that. So I didn't get much posted last week, but this week I did a lot better on the posting. Something I'll get to towards the end of the video, but we did post a lot more. But in saying that, we saw less sales, so a very quiet week this week. Despite having a few cards on the store now, on the eBay store, we only sold a Rotom Dex from the Sun and Moon base set, the Gold Secret Rare, for $12. And the other card we sold was a Mega Houndoom EX from the XY Breakthrough set for $24. Both really cool cards. Rotom Dex is pretty unique. I posted that one this week, and it sold this week, so it's a lot quicker turnaround than I'd expected, to be honest. It might just be like one of those outliers where maybe someone was trying to finish a set, or they really like Rotom Dex, maybe, not sure. But that one did sell very quick. I also posted the Mega Houndoom EX. That was either like the end of last week or maybe Monday this week, very early in the week, and it did sell after a couple back and forth with offers. It did sell this week for $24. But that's all we sold this week. Pretty quiet week, to be honest, but not too bad. We're just focusing on posting a lot and getting a lot of cards on the store. In terms of cards that we bought this week, I did buy a couple cards this week, but they're all kind of low value cards and stuff like that. There's nothing too crazy in there. They're nice, I like them, but I think the most notable ones that I like the most is the Japanese Dark Feraligatr. I also bought the Sabrina's Kadabra, which I love the artwork on. I think this is such a cool artwork. And I also bought the Pichu number 172 from the Gold Silver New World set in Japanese. So those are some of the notable cards that I thought I'd share in the video today on some of the things that I bought. So yeah, I bought a couple cards this week, but not too much. We're at a bit of an interesting point here where I'm waiting on my cards to come back from PSA to try and turn them over into money so that I can buy new cards and send more cards to PSA. I'm at the point now where I don't want to dig too deep of a hole and buy a heap of cards, send them off to PSA, but then not have the money when they've been graded and I need to be charged. And I don't want to dig into my own pockets because I've got my own expenses and stuff like that to deal with. So we're at a bit of an awkward moment where I'm trying not to buy too much. I've also got a massive backlog of cards that I can send to PSA, but I need the money to do so still. So what we're kind of doing is waiting for these cards to come back from PSA. The only problem is that it's December shortly, Christmas time. I think I haven't dealt with PSA before more than just this year, so I don't know if they go into a break or anything like that, but on the website it gives you an ETA of when you're expected to receive the cards back, and they've currently got it listed for the 21st of January. So despite in the PSA app I can see my order is currently in the process of being graded, they've received it, they've unboxed it, they're grading the cards as we speak. I've got 60 cards with PSA at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm going to receive them back this year, which is okay. It just means that we've got a couple quiet weeks of just selling the singles in order for us to kind of make some of that money back so we can send off our next order. And the goal I want to be sending off cards every single week. At some point week, but for now, my goal is to try and send one PSA submission a month so that I can get into the swing in a couple months' time where I'm receiving an order back, sending an order off, receiving an order back, selling the cards from the order I received back so I can fund the next month's PSA submission. So that's the goal I want to get into, that sort of consistency, so I'm constantly getting inventory because like in the very first video where I talked about our first PSA submission and how kind of successful it was in terms of how quick we were turning over the PSA submission, we're all out of our PSA cards now. I think we've got 2 left, and they were ones that just didn't do that well, and that's probably why they're left. So we're at the point now where we just want more PSA cards to sell so that we can try and make consistent money back. So at the moment, I'm not sending anything off. I haven't bought too much because I've got a heap of cards I can send off, but I'm just at that stalemate where I need the cards to come back. I need to sell some more cards before I can pay for my next submission. The good news is that the CGC order that I mentioned a couple of videos back, we sent off 4 cards. We sent off a Typhlosion, we sent off a Feraligatr, and we sent off a Meganium, as well as I believe it was a reverse holo crystal Charizard. I'll have to double check that. I'll put a photo of what it really is in the video so that I can share that with you. The good news is we've been charged for it. They've shipped it back. It should arrive this week. I think we got the Express because it was just 4 cards. We got Express, hoping to get them graded soon so we could turn them over for a bit more funds. And fingers crossed, I'm hoping they come back well. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'm really excited to get these back because these are some pretty high value cards, especially if they come back in a higher grade. So I'm pretty excited to see how these go. It's probably almost, we've submitted cards worth more, but we haven't actually received them back yet. So in this PSA orders, we've submitted cards worth more, but we haven't received them back. So this will be the first time we receive back cards of this higher value. So that's pretty exciting. And I'll definitely be sharing that on the channel and probably on Instagram and stuff like that as well. Now, in terms of listing the cards I listed this week, I actually grabbed my binder out because I did order some cards a couple weeks ago, some ARs in Japanese from Surging Sparks, and I received them this week as well, so that's pretty exciting. But unfortunately, I think it was like 3 of them had some damage on the back, so obviously I'm not going to send them off to get graded, so I went to put them in my personal binder, and there's just a mix of English and Japanese. And back in the day, I used to be very like, I don't want Japanese, I can't read Japanese, so why would I want Japanese? And then I started getting Japanese cards and looking at them, and I know everyone says this, but the quality just seems so much better. And it's not just like, oh, this card might 10, oh, this card's really nice and clean, but it's more like the holo is beautiful, it shines, it's so great. It's funny, everyone says it, but like I've gone to Japanese now and I just can't go back. It's really hard for me to look at English cards the same. So I've got a heap of English cards that I bought like a couple weeks, a couple months, even a couple years ago that I have in my collection binder just for personal keepsake. And this week I pulled them all out. They're all going, they're going to get replaced with Japanese down the line, but I've pulled out a great bunch of them. Specifically because I love the art rares. I pulled out a lot of Galarian galleries. I pulled out 151 illustration rares. I pulled out all of that stuff, and my Japanese ones are going to start going in. So I mentioned a while ago, I believe that if I buy a heap of cards online for grading and any of them are damaged and not worth grading, they're just going in the collection binder. So instead of sending it off and spending the money on getting it graded and seeing how it goes, I can just cop the $2, $3 price of how much I paid for it and chuck it in the binder. And that's probably the only way I'm going to be buying cards for my collection moving forward. So there are some in there now. There's only about 7. I don't think I'm ready to do a sort of collection video at this stage. Maybe one day in the future when I build it up a bit more. But right now, my main focus right now is to get cards graded, get some money in the pocket, get this system going of continually having cards go out to PSA and come back from PSA, sell the ones that come back so I can fund the ones that went out, and so on. We'll keep the cycle going. So that's my goal. Lots of Galarian galleries went up on the eBay page this week. A couple IRs. Things like the Zapdos EX from 151 are just skyrocketing in price. I bought that like probably 2 months ago for $60, and I listed it today for $90. Whether or not it sells at that, we'll see. But looking at the history of cards that are sold on eBay, I mean, what is it, the 24th? I was seeing cards in the last 2 weeks, the Zapdos EX selling for $90. I saw one sell for $110. So I could post it for that, but I'm just going to sit at 90 and see how it goes. Probably won't take any offers on it, probably just let it sit there unless it starts falling dramatically or anything like that. But yeah, it's just getting all those up. I don't need them in my collection, so I'll get rid of them. I'll sell them for money so I can fund the PSA grind. But yeah, I think that's really all I have to update you on. I thought this was going to be a short video, but it's gone a bit longer than I expected, to be honest. I didn't think I had much to update y'all on, but yeah, like I said, CGC order coming in this week. There'll probably be a video about that, whether it be standalone or in the weekly recap, we'll find out. But if you want to see a bit of an early sneak peek, I would recommend going to my Instagram, Cracks Collectibles. I'll probably post some photos of the returns there. send me a message, reach out. If you have any questions, put them in the comments or hit me up on Instagram. I love talking Pokemon, so anytime. But other than that, have a good one. See ya.